All right, guys, we're only 5 minutes late today, so this is a record for us. But today, as you see with the title of the episode, do men suffer living with boss women? Now, most it seems like a general question, and most men and our staff will be like, hell yeah, they suffer. But I think it's an interesting dialogue to have. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So, as I said with the question, and I'll add in so you guys can see it's all confident. So, do men suffer living with boss women? Let's first define what is boss women.
Boss women. My personal definition of it, like what I would consider, she's in a leadership role. She has to lead herself. I would say it's her house. She pays the bills. Everything is in her name. She called the shots. That's a boss woman. Like, she can do everything with or without you. She don't need you as far as in the house to, you know what I mean? So to me, that's a boss woman. Like, she really can operate without you. You know what I mean? All her shit is in order. Her job, her finances, like, that's boss woman to me. Actually, I don't know. That's kind of like a responsible adult too at the same time. You know what I mean? But for the discussion, I would say that's a boss woman. She really don't need you as far as with, like I said, shelter and finances and all that.
But that's a good separation. I think that, as you say, that's an adult. That's what we expect adults to do, right?
Right, yeah, for sure.
Take care of your bills, take your responsibilities. But when you say need, when I think of a boss woman, I don't think it means a need of money. I think a boss woman, when they say they don't need something, they don't want someone to lead the family.
To tell you.
Because the woman can make more money and still be submissive to her husband.
Right.
So I think it goes in line with that boss woman mentality.
Mentality, that's what I was going to say.
Hand in hand, meaning that they make a lot of money and they tend to they make more money than the man, and they tend to not need them financially, but also they don't want them to lead or to operate in their masculine frame. The women are more, but I think about women, I think they're masculine. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is a woman that displays more masculinity than femininity, and more. I'll just use a phrase like a shoot first woman. You know, not second guessing. It's hands on 24/7.
Or like, I would say an example, like he said, it's more mentally. So let's say I was going on vacation and you got everything planned out and it's like, yo, we're going to go here for the kids. And then we're going to stay in this hotel. We're going to do it like this for this many days. And then she's like, nah, we're going to go here. We're going to stay in this hotel. And we're going to go for this many days. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a bucking back. Every time you try to take the lead or make a decision, she has to buck back at the decision every single time. That's what I would say like a boss woman is. Like, everything you decide is never good enough, or she second guess your leadership or your decisions or your choice. She's always second guessing it, think it could be better, or something you said is always wrong and she has a better answer. I would say, yeah, it's just like a mental thing. You don't feel like you leading or your input is as valuable as hers because she don't need you.
Yeah, I think the same thing, but I kind of am the opposite of Drew. He said it's not about money. I think it is.
Yes.
About money because
elite.
Yeah, because I mean that's what separates
you
know the
positions.
The because I feel like a woman, like you said, if she's making more money than you and she's submissive, but she still has that thought in her head, like I'm really running.
I'm sonning you.
I'm doing this to appease your ego and your pride. But if the man is making more money, you know what I mean, that's what we've been taught growing up. Because every podcast we've had, the one thing that we can associate is a man does what?
Protects and provides.
That goes with any topic we choose. So with this one, I feel like it's definitely, relevant money-wise, like financial-wise, that if the man is making more money, she'd be more willing to be submissive. But if she's this boss chick that's above, like she's in that 10% of women who's a judge or a lawyer or doctor or something like that, like, I mean, later in the podcast, I'll give like my examples of what I've seen in the public, but I really do think money does matter when it comes to
100%.
Yeah, and I want to be careful when I say money matters. I think more times than not, yes, it does. But I've seen women who made less and still have energy that's very masculine and bossy because they're able to be self-sufficient when it comes to taking care of themselves. Just because you can pay your rent and take your bills, you don't need a man financially doesn't mean it's about money. It's not about money. I think it's just they're not submissive. So when I think of a bossy woman, I think it's a woman who's just not able to be submissive. Because as I said, I've seen situations where women who do make more money than the man are very submissive to that man. They understand the role and the importance that man plays. I think, again, the subject of the show is do men suffer living with boss women? So I think clarification on boss women, there are more instances than not if they make more money. I think that is true. But there are underlying issues where it's not always about money. I think the sole thing is that women who are not submissive, who are very masculine and carry the energy of control and manipulation toward the man, and they can pull that front card. I mean, if you see with the thumbnail, we show a man outside crying with tears and being locked outside. Because I don't think personally a man should ever be in a situation ever where he's not in complete control. Meaning that because we're more logical. And what I mean by complete control is not where, like, for example, me and my wife, both our names are on the home. We're both in control of the home. It's not equal pay. I make a lot more than her, but she still has equal rights to the home. So it's not like a dictatorship while still the head of my home. But it's not where, like, I went and moved in with her. Everything is in her name, and she may get on a whim. And women can get emotional and not really mean it and, like, kick you out.
Yeah.
And be like, you can't be here.
Just to let you know what? But let's clarify, though, before we get a deep dive. I think when we talk about feminine and masculine energy, I don't think that's like one can exist without, like, so as men, you have feminine and masculine energy within yourself too. So it's not like cater towards certain sexes, but for a woman to be in her defined femininity, I hear a lot of them say you have to create an environment where she can thrive and be soft. And then you'll see her divine femininity. But my response is, well, for me to create that environment, I have to know that you can be feminine, though. Before I put all these resources and sacrifices and do all this, that's my thing. So I just want to know that you can naturally be feminine before I do all that extra stuff. So I just think that money doesn't have to necessarily play a part in it. I think divine femininity is like an energy you tap into. Even if she's making more, let's say I'm with a girl and she's making a lot more than me, but as far as with the household, I don't need her to do nothing with that house. I can do all the repairs. I can fix all her cars is good, all the landscape, all the grass cutting, everything with the house I can take care of, all the maintenance. And I think that's a masculine trait. She don't have to lift a finger. I can take care of the whole house maintenance, inside and outside. So when she's home, she can be her feminine because she knows she don't have to do, I can take the lead when she's home. As far as with the house, but at her job, that's her job. But as long as you can come home and turn it off, you know what I mean? Like, you can be at home and you can be soft because I created the environment for you to be.
But what about men that aren't like they're not handyman like that? You
got to think of another thing you can do then for her to
like
be
cutting grass and all that stuff. Yeah, but making repairs and all of that stuff.
Well, what can he contribute then? If she's making more and she's the breadwinner, what can he do?
So I think if a man's in that situation where, okay, he may not be the most handiest, of men.
Right.
So if I can't fix it, my next solution is I'm going to find somebody who can.
Yeah.
So either way it goes, I'm still making sure things are being taken care of, and it's one less burden that you have to worry about. So let me, get in my Rolodex and, hey, I need you to do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And then also be able to pay for it.
Yeah. And find
not bring the bill to you.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, be able to pay for it. Because I think that's where you start falling into that weak man category.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically you're getting a receipt here. I need you pay this. Why do I need you?
Yeah.
Because that's just not a traditional look in a household for a man.
That's real good. I'm glad you pointed that because there's a lot of men who, and again, we're just a bunch of guys on YouTube, so anything we say, take away grain of salt. But I feel we're somewhat experienced. I think we see a lot of shows and people talk points where we want a traditional woman, but men are not able to be traditional in that sense. Like you said, if you don't make more financially, I'm gonna go the extra route, and I'm gonna make sure this project get done. I'm gonna go and negotiate with these men who can come and do this work, and I'm gonna also find a way to pay it. I'm gonna find a way to make sure this house is led in a constructive manner. A lot of times you get men who just sit at home, don't do nothing, don't go out to work, feel like I just drop you some D. Now back in the day that was cool. Most young women really don't understand. They're probably planning for the weekend, but when you get women who's about that life, and this, and I want to say this because I don't want boss women to have a negative connotation to them. Because I think, like Steve talked about, like I would love a woman who's in real estate. We have all this, we can go and grind together to be on like a different trajectory. So I don't want to take away from that. And I think that a lot of times they get that negative connotation because there's those few who deal with the type of men who are not traditional. They want the traditional woman, but they come to the table with that. Remember we talked about last week or the week before the McDonald's interview. Like I'm just working McDonald's on the food.
Right.
You may offer value when it comes to how you communicate with the kids. Bring that masculine energy as far as physical demand. But maybe you're just financially stupid and don't have no ambition. And your wife has all that. So now you want her to submit to you and to be nice and cool and, you don't know how to go buy a home, everything's in her name, your credit's messed up. Yeah, I can see her being like, why do I need you?
That's a natural thing how they operate too. Like if they don't feel a need to submit to you or you're not handling their business, they just not. I think they're naturally wired like that. Yeah. And it'll encourage us to stand on us and get on our business though, for real. Like.
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of want to add to what you're saying. A couple podcasts back, we kind of spoke on, dealing with old hurt, and moving into a new situation. And most guys sometimes, we talked about a woman being out of your league. And sometimes it's not a matter of a woman is out of your league. It's just a matter of, as the man, you're just immature and you don't want to grow up. You don't want to embrace what's ahead of you. So this woman, like you all are saying, that is ambitious, pushing you, goal driven, like we're using the word boss, and I want the word boss to have a positive connotation, because generally when you say boss, these are people that are really out there getting after it.
Right.
Even for a woman, as a boss, she's out there getting after it. It takes a certain type of man to be able to be in a relationship with a woman like that. I believe we call them power couples. Because if I'm out here getting it, you're out here getting it, then there's no deficits. But when you're out, when she's here and you're here, that's just such a natural unbalance.
So is it, and just to keep the title, so is it men who were not operating in their masculine energy suffer living with boss women?
Yes.
Is that safe to say?
Yes, I would say that. Yes.
So because basically, if a man was living in his masculine energy, he wouldn't be in a position to even put out.
I think he's living in his masculinity. It wouldn't matter if he's making more or less.
Or less, right?
That wouldn't even matter.
He's still contributing.
He's going to
making it happen.
Steve said he's going to figure out a way to contribute, landscaping, repairs, all that stuff. I'm gonna figure out a way to show you, that I have a value here.
Yeah, but that 9 times out of 10 though is just a bad deal, a decision to make if you move in with a woman, bro. Like,
I'm agreeing with Steve on that 100% on that though.
That is her house. I'm not doing that.
You move in with a woman, and just stay with me so far.
He said, hey, my man shot it down from the jump.
All right, let's just say the man moves in with a woman. He makes really good money. He saves really well. I don't know. He just found that it was easier to move in with her than maybe, the situation was better. But doesn't that allow him to be able to leave easier if things don't go right?
It does, but
on his end,
it does.
But if she wakes you up out your sleep and says, "Get the fuck out,"
then there you go.
That's the risk you take.
Yeah,
and I'll be damned if somebody tells me
it's too much leverage. Right. She has way too much leverage in that situation.
Emotionally,
I think that would suck, but I also think that the man who's affected in that situation is man's not on the path of purpose, meaning that. If you were a woman that she decides, let's say, kick you out. Let's say you do something fucked up, right? And she decided to kick you out. she don't want to work it out. That's cool. It's some shit. Cool. I got the money and resources to go get my own. Now I'm not gonna come back to you ever because you kicked me out. So it's a wrap. But I feel like that if you're in a position where you're dependent on her and now you're scared, you don't know how you're gonna function without this woman. I think that shows the weakness of man.
Very much
There's a
so.
lot of those men that get into those situations.
Yes, because they're looking at her as a come up.
Our mindset, we're not going into that.
That's
Yeah,
what I was about to
yeah.
say. I don't even want that to be an option
Yeah,
for her to
yeah.
tell me to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our egos won't allow
You
us
not
to even
getting that
enter that
power.
room.
I won't
Yeah.
even enter
Yeah.
that situation.
Yeah, we won't even enter that room.
But see, it
Yeah.
depends on the guy, like you said, in the position we are in. We don't even want that to be a situation where she can say, get
Yeah,
out.
I'm not even giving you
The
that.
way we
Yeah.
design,
Yeah.
we're gonna eliminate that from the
From the
jump. You
jump,
cannot tell me to get
Yeah,
out.
I'll have my own place for the
Yeah.
longest.
But-
I'll do stay the nights, but I'll be you'll never be able to tell me to get out.
Exactly.
No, I'm not doing that.
And I'm
Yeah.
crying outside.
Yeah, never. No.
No.
And you know what? They low key like that though. That you in a position that they can't tell you to get out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
I do agree with that. I want to make sure it's clear. I feel like all men, you should never live with a woman. I'm just saying there's situations that if you do,
If you have to. Mhm.
if you, I won't say have to, if you decide to, you should always be in a position where you're financially stable. You're not dependent on her. If the event don't work out and she say, yo, get your shit and go, cool. Man, you should always be in the pack status. I feel like you should. Your clothes, everything should be, and you be able to pack it within an hour. You know?
Hey, listen.
That's how.
Yeah.
Listen,
If
y'all.
you're in that situation, and you should still have your own place.
But as a responsible adult, you should also have a nest egg for yourself anyway.
Yeah.
So especially
But some men who cry like that be the ones who don't.
no, that's what I'm saying. No, but what I was going to say is that especially being a man, you know, there's just rule of thumb. You know, you always have a couple dollars tucked away.
You got to.
Especially in that walking into that situation. I know this is her everything. I'm driving her car.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm wiping my ass with her toilet tissue. If she don't buy none, I'm assed out. You got to know walking into that, this may not last forever.
Hey, listen, y'all, from a personal experience, y'all, I remember I was with my first kid's mother, and we was actually married at the time, right? And I had my own place, but I moved out of that place to try to make it work with her. I moved right back in with her. And when things started getting rocky, yo, I remember one time she literally took a blanket, yo, and laid it on the floor and was putting my clothes in the blanket. Like, yo, you gotta go over some petty stuff. Like, was putting my clothes in a blanket. Like, you gotta get out emotionally. And we had 2 kids. We was married at the time. So you know what I had to do? I had to play it cool. Me and my other homeboy call it mind fucking. But I had to play it cool and make sure, because I can leave on my own terms. So I had to smooth things over. And then when it was time for me to go, I bounced. But I'm like, yo, I would never be in that situation to where she get emotionally upset, pull out a blanket in the living room floor, throw all my stuff and be like, you gotta go. And then I left my place to be, you know what I'm saying, to try to make this work. So it's like, it's a bad deal.
And those are knowing, you know what you're doing. Those are actions that you're knowingly committing these actions for the purpose of, I got one up on you.
Yeah.
Now I'm putting you out. She knows. I know I'm putting you out.
Yep.
I know you ain't got X, Y, and Z. So now I'm about to hit you where it hurts.
Yep.
Get out.
They got egos too, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And if you know you with a crazy chick, like, bro, it's a bad deal. Like, just don't do it, man.
I think the best way to win in this situation is to
leave.
Man, you as men, we always have the power to walk away. Anybody does, but the best part is
know what suffers from
our mentality.
It's pride.
I think it's the pride. I think it's the natural instinct of a man. If you're not in a position of power in a relationship, then you're at the whim of someone who women do naturally act on emotion. If my situation don't change.
It's gonna change.
You know,
Cut your water off.
Like, let me walk in here and cool down. Let me be cool.
That's true.
But if a female knows that, man, you live with me, I pay for a lot of this stuff. I make the moves. I make the decisions. Almost like you're a child.
I was just gonna say, she looks at you like you're a little boy.
Second childhood.
You're a little boy.
Die inside I think you have to, as a man, you will have to die inside to live in that type of situation.
And I gotta say, that, like, for an example for the fellas of what not to do. I mean, the prime example is the movie Baby Boy. That Jody, you do not want to
Jody.
But Jody was in a second childhood too.
Yeah, exactly. So that should be like a sign of like who you don't want to be. Like, he was driving her car And then he tried to do what you said. When she said, "That's my car you driving around, and this and that." He said, "I put them.
I'll put the brakes on here. I'll put the yeah.
I think, but does it matter?
Don't matter.
Whose name is it?
Her.
No, that's her
And then
car.
he's sitting there eating cereal, living at his mama's house.
What's her name? What was her name?
You bet.
Yvette.
And then he look outside, see that motherfucker gone.
Yeah.
And then he calls her, and then
He said, I got my car.
I got my car.
And he had no authority.
The power that they have when you put yourself in those positions.
And he had,
and even when the mom was
Jody's mom.
Yeah, when they was arguing, she said, "Do you pay any bills in this?"
Yeah.
Do you do shit around this?
That's why I call baby boy.
Yes.
It even with a mother and a son, women naturally, if you're not providing or have that masculine energy, brother, you're gonna get called out on it. It doesn't matter what the relationship is. If it's a male and a female, whether it's mother, son,
girlfriend, boyfriend,
wife,
husband, wife,
they're gonna call you out on that.
You're gonna be
That's why
compartmentalized as a boy.
matters.
It does.
I agree.
I think that's a big thing. So I definitely want to stick with that a little bit. It does matter, and I think that baby boy instance is like
It's crazy.
I mean, with John Cena with the baby, the whole
Purpose, yeah. The premise was to talk about
it's called Baby Boy.
And Steve and I, we talked about doing the podcast here in the future, talking about men living in the second childhood. Men who, I think this type of instance is one instance where you get men where it's like baby boy stages, where they live with women, and I would say acting men who you may have a job, you may be able to go out and take care of yourself, but you operate in such fear that the woman can sense it.
She knows.
She can feel like
She got you by the balls.
Yeah.
The opening scene was him and that fetus.
Yes.
As a grown man.
As a grown man.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
So that symbolized a second child.
Second child, yeah.
Grown
Like,
boy.
yeah, I'm a grown boy.
Yeah.
You know, depending on women.
I got a question though. So check this out, guys. Same thing. You with a boss chick, right? And you're trying, but she continues to keep her foot on your neck. But you're trying, meaning you're in school finishing up that degree. You picked up a second job. Nothing you do is good enough.
Oh, that's good. It reminded me of that. Remember that Tyler Perry movie where the dude with the woman, the same actress.
Taj Busey.
Yeah, she
Acrimony. No, not acrimony.
Yeah.
Because he was an engineer.
But she was having
Then
an
when
affair
he hit
with her boss, though, right?
No, she
No, I know what you're talking about. That is the one with Sanaa Lathan.
The
That
woman
was
that's
something like
yes.
that. Is that
And
what
remember, he a family of praise. Yes, because he was like trying to get
Construction
it, trying
and
to
all
really
that,
get it up. Yeah,
Technically, he would fit the description and not being able to do anything financially.
Right.
Because he was solely focused on his dream,
Right.
and the woman was listening to had
Her
brought
sisters.
up, to people who, for one,
Mhm.
in miserable relationships. And once it came out, she left him because
But guess what he was with?
he became
a millionaire.
No, the white guy that she was
No,
so head over
That was her
so-
boss.
So no.
That
So
was
these
her
are two
boss.
different movies. And I think it's called Acrimony.
I'm talking
He
about the family that prays.
So Family of Praise.
With the white
He came from a long line of we could call
And the
them
family business.
call them Beermans. You'll call them Beermans for use of the example. And they were loaded.
Loaded.
She loved the lifestyle that he lived. He was married and loaded, so that's what she was attracted to. She looked at her guy, who was a hard-working guy.
Mhm.
Got up,
Good to her too.
yeah,
Didn't she?
yeah,
Yeah.
none of that. Faithful, hard-working, but he wasn't him.
He didn't
Right.
have any habit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. What I mean by he wasn't him, meaning everything that this guy represents. And she was heads over heels,
Yeah.
shitting on this dude. And in the end, Buddy ended up shitting on her. And I'm not leaving my wife for you. Like it was a crazy situation, man.
Yeah, and with this one, like I said, the movie is different, but the point is that I think there are outliers like that where your man got a dream, he's working on it, and
Not
you may
supporting.
have to, like, for example, what if let's say we got son, let's say your son is going to school to be a doctor, he's in a relationship, he can't really go out here and work and make money, so he really
School is his job.
school is his job, and that's kind of like this situation, but his woman is feeling like she's missing out on something. It's like, oh, you're not taking care of nothing. This school taking forever, or you got to redo this class, or anything, making them feel less than a man. I think there are outlier situations like that where, I think as men, you still kind of die inside too. I feel like until you ready as a man, I think you shouldn't be in that situation at all. Like in that movie, that dude engineered that device.
Mm-hmm.
You should have waited till you got to that point, then found your wife.
Yeah.
Because in some aspects in that movie, I kind of agreed with how she was tripping about it. Like they lost their home. There was a lot of stuff to where
He was falling short.
he was falling short. Where it's like, just imagine if I was so invested in this podcast that one day it takes off, but in the meantime I lose my home. So many things go under for me to do this that I feel like, now I end up losing my marriage and kids, stuff mess up. So I think as men, no matter the situation, I think you still have to, until you're ready to leave, you don't need to be the one.
So
You can lay with them, but I'm just saying, if like living with them and have a relationship, if they're the breadwinner, they're doing everything, I just don't think men should put themselves in that situation.
Technically, you shouldn't even lay with them.
Technically, no. But
And here's why I say that. Here's the only reason I say that is because laying with them, it eventually leads to that. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, I know I wasn't ready, but yeah, I still laid with you, and now we're here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty much setting myself up because I'm like, shit, no matter what I say or do, I'm not prepared. I'm not ready yet. There's just one more year of school left. Why not just get a year of school out and have the understanding if you decide to, you hanging out, hey, look, this is my focus.
I mean, we all hindsight. It's easy to tell.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
but like, young men, they gonna get it.
Yeah.
But I feel like that when you decide you want to go out and get in a relationship, I just think that if men, you would naturally die inside if you're not ready to leave family.
Mhm.
You're not ready
Yes.
to leave a relationship.
I agree.
And if you pretend it, it's gonna show. And it's gonna show once. How can I say this? Once pressure is applied,
Yes.
that's when
You gonna stand or you gonna fold.
show.
Mm-hmm.
Because every woman has attitude, any relationship, and they all have attitude, they all have energy. But once pressure is applied to the relationship, it shows who's really feminine and it shows the masculine. Because if you the type of man when you're fearful, like, man, I'm gonna lose my woman, I'm gonna do all this, man. Like, I love my woman, but I always kind of made it feel like if you weren't here, I would still be in the same position. It might took me longer, but I would still got here. If you decide to do it, I'm still gonna be on my grand purpose.
And I think that's as a collective, I think that's our mind states that, like, no matter what, we still gonna ball, no matter what. I don't see any of us that make the tap being those guys that are gonna curl up in a fetal position and cry. I feel like if anything, that shit will motivate us to a point of a hustle that, I mean, we would be like Super Saiyan the way we would be out here hustling. I just don't think that us as men, we're built like that. And there's some guys that are truly built like that, which is why they can't coexist with a boss woman, because they're going to fold every time. Because the moment she level up, you're weak because your insecurities eat at you every day. That's one thing that makes you weak every day, because your insecurities eat at you because you're not where you want to be.
Right.
For whatever reason that is.
So you resent her.
Exactly. So you already have a skewed view of her being a boss.
But that could mess the situation up. Like, okay, we say never move in with her, but like in today's economy right now, if I meet a woman, right, and she has a big place and she got a good mortgage and interest rate, it would make sense.
That makes
though,
sense. That
for
makes
me
sense.
to
That's
move
a
in
life
with
choice.
her.
That makes sense.
That's what I was talking
It would
about.
make sense, but if she's not in her feminine thing, then it wouldn't work. But as far as financially, if I move in with her, even if we're not going to permanently be there, but we're going to be there for the next 2 or 3 years to get our ducks in order and do some investing, it would make sense. She locked in at a 2.5 interest rate. You can't
that's
find
a floor rate.
2.5
Yeah,
interest rate
that's a
nowhere.
floor rate.
So
Right
if I
there.
come in and take off 50% of her bills,
Y'all good.
That
that's
part,
a
but
win.
that part though, when you come into her situation, you're upgrading her situation
I am.
essentially,
I am.
because, like you just said, I'm cutting your expenses in half.
And I'm bringing
On
whatever
top of-
values I have.
On top of the skill sets
Exactly.
that I already have. So when you say, "Oh my God, my car's making a noise," don't worry about it. I got it. Pop, 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 pop.
Got
I'm
it.
good. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Here, go ahead, take mine. I got yours.
Yeah.
But I came into the podcast off the topic that we said. with boss women. Like, do men suffer? So I had 2 examples of 2 boss women. So the first one is gonna be Martin. So everybody watched the show Martin.
Yeah.
Gina, she was a boss.
Yes.
But guess what she did? She moved in with Martin in his little apartment.
Mm-hmm.
She moved in with him. She was caring, kind, listened
Supportive.
to him, supportive. All the stuff that you want. She was submissive. You know, come home, you got food made, all that stuff, and she made more than him. But the moment he found out, that she made more money,
he got in his body.
He got in his ego and his pride, and he almost messed it up. And almost ruined the relationship that they had because he was so worried about feeling
about the man. Yes,
the man thing.
But can I add?
He always do that.
Can I add something to what you said? Because I want you. Because I'm with you. I want you to keep going too, though.
Right.
But the one thing I liked about it was Gina's parents. Gina came from 2 successful parents.
Yeah.
A union that taught her.
That matters.
So that also is a big factor because she was okay with accepting Martin. And also represented Martin against her dad.
Exactly.
Like, hey, no, I love him because he's this, he's this, he's this. He may not be this yet,
Right.
but these are the reasons why I'm with him. It made her dad respect that.
Yep.
So, okay, I just want to add that.
I brought that up as one.
Yeah.
Like, that was one boss woman.
Yeah.
But then you got Deliver Us from Evil. You got
Is it LL?
Gabrielle Union.
Yeah, LL Gabrielle.
Yeah.
Gabrielle.
Steered men away like
Yes.
bug repellent.
Yes.
I mean, she didn't need a man, didn't want a man for nothing. Like, because she didn't know how to, she was so independent that she would have missed out on somebody like us or any other, successful man because she feels she can do everything on her own. And then her friends would try to get her to like, look, this man, he does this, he does this. She didn't care about none of that stuff. So these boss women, I think it depends on which boss woman is she. Is she a Deliverer from Eva or is she a Gina?
Can I add one more to that? And this is kind of a wild card. Aunt Viv from the new school Bel Air.
Ooh.
Think about it, Uncle Phil.
Yeah.
Yes, Aunt Viv. She was dope in the paint world. She was big in the paint world.
Did she drop this support?
But she dropped it to that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. But she was
The
equally.
original Aunt Viv was a boss.
Yes,
What did she do for a living? The original on
She was
video?
She was a professor.
Ivy League school.
Yes. So the original Aunt Viv, Got Dog,
The dark
Will
skin
was
one.
cracking, the dark skin one.
The dark skin
Will
one.
was cracking on Jasmine Guy. And that's where Aunt Viv told her story. She dropped out of high school, but went back and got her stuff together, which made her that prominent professor in Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
Even someone else to add on that, you know how I like Claire Huxtable?
Claire,
Was always, bro, I
Lawyer.
think she was the prettiest. I
Yes.
crush on Claire Huxtable. She was a
Yes.
lawyer, but her and Cliff or whatever, man, their dynamic worked. She was submissive. It was cool, but she was a boss. She was a lawyer, and he was a doctor.
he's a doctor. Remember, his office was in the basement of the house.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Claire Huxtable.
Yeah, Claire was bad.
HBCU too.
Black community.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the TV now is such that and I don't want to dive too deep in this, but a lot of now it's you see a lot of feminine men now. This it representing television and masculine women, and that's why I wanted to separate the boss earlier. When I say boss women, I think it has a negative connotation because of the masculine women now that's out there. Like, I don't want it to be like we just pointed out, like Claire Huxtable was a lawyer. I Viv was a professor in Ivy League school. Like these women who go out here and are depicted showing this out here making power moves. We're not here to do that, and that's attractive to real men. We're not intimidated by that. What we don't want to get in the ring with is the argumentative, angry woman who's just masculine and just don't want to be submissive.
Right.
Like,
Challenging you all the
things
time.
that challenge you on everything you come up with. And I think as a man, if you're in that situation, you're dying.
It masculates you.
You're dead. You're dead.
You're at home and you're literally
You're dead.
you put my lips up.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you're dead. Yeah, you're dead on the inside.
If I do something, she's gonna get mad. So let me do this. Sometimes, and I know as men, definitely being a married man, I know sometimes I always say pick my battles.
There you
like,
go.
not everything needs to be like supercharged, but there are lines in the sand that I draw. And I'm like, nah, I'm gonna do this. And I'm sorry to do it that way, but this is how
Non-negotiables.
it's not negotiable. But I feel like that if men, it's remember that passage in the Bible where it talks about if you don't stand for something, you blow like a leaf in the wind.
Fall for everything.
Fall for
Mhm.
everything. And I feel like when I see a man who's not standing firm in your manhood, like, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna work on this. When a woman sense that energy in you, then she's gonna exploit it because you're going with the whims
Yes.
of that woman.
Add one more though. Add one more. Also, men, when you are I'm paraphrasing, but when you are a child, you drink milk. When you are a man, you eat meat. Meaning that at the end of the day, at some point, you have to graduate from the milk to the meat. You know what I'm saying? So, as a man, and specifically talks about men, what men also have to understand is, yes, it was with that, but also, woman was a help meet. So, again, for those guys that are in that position, you already in it ass backwards already. You're out of order already because the woman is supposed to be the help meet. Even if she's a boss, you still supposed to come in and take here. I'm glad you do what you do. I got all of this.
Well, even in the animal kingdom, they figured it out.
Yes.
Because the lioness is the hunter.
Yeah.
She's
the one that hold it down.
Yes.
He the
holds
king.
it down.
Yeah.
But
she'll go, and blah, blah, blah. Go out there, hunt, bring it back, but she still respects the king.
Yeah.
King. I got a question for y'all. Out of all these TV show sitcoms, who would y'all choose to be your wife? We got Fresh Prince, light skin or dark skin, and Viv, whatever one. Claire Huxtable, Harriet from Family Matters. Right? So we got Claire, Viv, Harriet, or Gina. Who y'all picking? I'm gonna go first. I'm picking Claire.
I gotta go Claire.
Bro, I love Bougie, but she loyal. Bougie and loyal, I love. I'm picking Claire, bro, straight up.
I don't even think that she was bougie.
She was classy. She was classy.
I just think that for Claire and Cliff, they just had their hard work paid off.
She was soft spoken. The looks she used to get a clip. Like, yo, I know Martin and Gina's cool, but Claire was just like, yo.
I'm going on V.
Which one? Dark skin or light skin?
Light skin. Because
light skin on V?
Light skin on V only because dark skin on V. I think she was treading the line.
She was a different walk.
So like she was treading the line on being that too because there was a few
militant
where she overturned what Phil
said. Yes,
and the light skinned Bill never did that. She would hold her like the light skinned Bill would hold it down, but then she knew when Phil was like, I'm dead ass. But she was like, you gotta go with your father.
Yeah. But she also had her times.
She got to be a little more submissive.
Yeah, where
the light skin
Viv was like, no, Philip, no, that ain't right.
Right.
But I think for like that example, dark skin Viv, I think that was the thing that kind of really got her jailed in real life. For yes.
Really?
Yeah, yes, because I never forget seeing her go upstairs and then Aunt Viv coming back downstairs, the light skin Viv on the show. Dark skin went up and the light skin one came down. And then from that point up, yes.
Yeah.
And if you watch even Will Smith even did they had that little I mean you look different.
Yeah. Hey, so the reunion talks about that.
Who you choosing, bro?
What's yours?
I mean, honestly,
Claire.
Everybody want Claire, man.
I think I would say all of them embody what we wanted in our lives, what we wanted in the women that we spend our life with. So you go. They were none of them were pushovers. They needed to take it from their men. Even I remember Bill Cosby's character was like, terrified of his wife sometimes because he respected her.
Right.
It wasn't he didn't fear her, but he respected her.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna move a certain way because I ain't trying to create chaos in my home. And I think that more shows like that need to be presented definitely within our community. It's kind of show like where the man needs to. The whole, because we both do an episode last week. We got caught up on the as well, so forgetting that. But we'll set it in the future. But I wanted to talk about how the black man is the most violent thing, and definitely touch on in the future. But I think that those type of episodes show that the fix it.
Or whenever she was having an argument, she was always feminine. Compare her to your Christian Blueface baby on Cardi B. Or when I sent you that link to the new reality show, Ray J's coming out with transgender. They already was violent on the show. It already came out. It was some kind of violent offense. Compare that to 90s with Claire. Every time they had a an argument, she was soft. It was respectable. You know what I mean? Or Family Matters.
She was soft, but she was also firm.
Exactly. And respectful.
Yeah, and I think that now and I feel bad for young because I feel like it's even worse. Like now they want to imitate like Christian.
They want to be Blueface.
They want they
Toxic culture.
Yeah, the toxic culture. They see the sexy red and think that thing's cute.
Right.
And you know, and what they do is they come home and they embody that, and then you get the young men who embody not knowing how to be out here to take care of themselves. They embody almost the baby boy image.
Right.
And then it's like a vicious cycle. Where it's like us men, we look at that and be like, man, why are you living in that? Why are you doing that, bro? Why aren't you out here working on your path to purpose? Why are you not doing this? And we look like the bad guys. But really, I say when we get on these podcasts and we talk about this, the main thing we want people to walk away is to understand that we're not perfect. We're not coming in like we didn't make mistakes, but
we've been through something.
We have some life experience. I know an old cat told me one time, and I said it when I talk to other people. I've been your age, you ain't never been mine. So when I come at you with something, we got a panel of men in their late 30s, you know, we ain't coming at you like we perfect and shit. We coming at you with life experience. We've been in a situation where older cats told us, like, hey, I won't mess with that. And we gonna do that, man. We like this girl, we gonna hit, we gonna do all that, and then we had to go bump our head. So you can choose not to listen to it. Hey, the guys on YouTube, kids and family and all that, we don't listen to them, cool. At the end of the day, we don't care. We got to view it regardless. But understand the purpose of this episode was to discuss do men suffer? And we'll close right there. Do men suffer living with the boss woman? And I say this to you: if you're at home and you feel like you're censoring yourself to comfort the insecurities of the woman that you're with, you're dying inside. And what I mean by censoring yourself, that means that the way you would normally act, you're not acting. If there's dreams and things you want to do, but you're not doing that to comfort her, you're afraid of losing her. I thought you're going to lose your adventure. It's just your turn. It's going to happen. And you should always be prepared for the worst and operate in the energy. Okay, I'm going to do what I need to do. Man, that's what I want to do. If you're not causing disrespect to your home, if you're not like the fire or anything like that, then if you're out here, you take care of your home, you take care of your children, then don't live in fear. Don't live in fear. Don't put yourself in a position where you're so dependent on your home. Don't suffer that way. That's what I'm going to call it, guys.
All right. I'll get mine out the way. The word man comes with a certain set of criteria, period. So in order for you to call yourself a man, there are certain acts of service, there are certain behaviors, there are certain ways that you carry yourself. If you call yourself a man and you want to enter into a woman's realm and call yourself in a union, there's certain characteristics and behaviors you have to exude in order to be classified as a man. Will brought up a good point. Animals figured it out. The king of the jungle, his title was never negotiated. His title was never up for it's not up for grabs. The king of the jungle is always the king of the jungle Monday through Sunday, because the king of the jungle acts in its purpose, walks in his purpose, and never veers away from who he is. So to all my men out there, if you call yourself a man, if you're at McDonald's, your 90-day goal is to be out of McDonald's making a couple more dollars. Once you get to that next plateau, I need to get this degree and or a trade so that I can move into the next plateau. This shit don't stop. We as men, we are the rock. We gotta act like that. We gotta carry ourselves like that, and we can't sway from it. Fellas, grab your nuts. Yeah, because she's shooting dice with them. All right. Remember, be the king of your jungle. Coach D.
I'll say shoulders is made for weight, hips is made for childbirth. So I'm speaking to the majority, not the minority. And I only say that in certain instances when I brought up the, like if you have a house loan or whatever, it may make sense for you to move in with her. But the majority though, just keep it real. I think it always serves young men better to establish something to where she can move in with you or you get your place together. Don't move in with her for several reasons, man. We do operate on ego. We do operate best when we're in a leadership role. That's just how we design. And that is the best way for us to have that is to have your own. And it'll make you feel better about yourself, man. It'll make you feel some kind of pride and self-esteem. It'll be better for your ego, for your purpose when you have your own shit. So neither you can move in with me or we get a place together, but I'm not going to put myself in a compromising position because women can't get emotional. Like I said, from my experience, I was almost kicked out. So to not put yourself in that position, man, just get on your back and your purpose and just have your own to where you independent and you're a functional adult. And if you meet a young lady and y'all want to shack up, just get a place together or she move in with you. But for men, don't put yourself in a compromising position. And I'm just better. That's just better for your mental.
Or a third layer to that, you two enter into that obligation together equally.
Yeah.
Equally. So that no one has more leverage than the other.
Right.
There's equal leverage in this.
Yeah. Or you be out on the streets crying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, to end this, I would say just choose the man that you want to be prior to getting into these situations. Because to reiterate what you said, a boss woman, we're not putting a negative on a woman being a boss. And we're not putting a negative on a woman that wants to be submissive and a housewife and all of that stuff. I think it's more important to figure out which one of those type of men that you want to be. Do you want to be a baby boy or do you want to be an Uncle Phil? You got to figure out which one do you want to be. If you figure that out and you know that before you going into it, you should have all that vetted before you even move into that woman's house.
That part.
Before that woman moves into yours.
That part.
So I would say my final note is men take accountability, know what man you want to be, and stand on it.
Man, that sounds great.
Well said.
We'll talk about please hit the like button, subscribe. We definitely appreciate it. It helps us out. Guys, we're definitely watching our channel online, so we're very thankful. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching the chat. We always appreciate it.